Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening all. कैसे हैं सब लोग? So we're bringing you another episode. We finally have named our channel. I think last time हमने channel का नाम नहीं बताया था. We are called Kautilya Podcast, homage to the great Indian polymath, probably we can say India's first diplomat, Chanakya. उनका दूसरा नाम कौटिल्य भी है. So our focus is we want to talk about India and the world and all the things which happen in these across the planet. And it's three men living across the world's common man perspective on all the things happening around India and the world. That's the vision of our podcast. So without any further ado, I'll bring the crew in here. So we have Anant and Saurav. Good afternoon, good morning, or
Hi
good
there.
evening.
Hey everyone.
All right, let's get started. Facebook's parent company, Meta, has launched a new app to counter Twitter, and they are calling it the Threads. So I thought we'll just give a quick introduction what it is, and we'll understand what's really happening because this is right now the number one trending topic also on Twitter. And so I thought it'll be a quick primer and give an understanding of where this is going and what's going to happen in the space of you know the the media world. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
For some strange reason, I have to. All right. So that is the new logo of Threads. इसके काफी memes भी शुरू हो गए हैं. But essentially, I wanted to give a quick sneak peek of how the thread is. Anant, you cannot actually use it because actually it is not launched in Europe. Because Meta has these privacy concerns with all the the strict law they have for
GDPR basically.
GDPR and all that the GDPR and the EU law, privacy law. So they have launched it only in 100 countries, but not in Europe. So you will not get to see it. When that I thought for our audience who have not downloaded it, I can give a quick interface update of how this looks like. जब आप ये देखोगे, this is looking like a pretty similar version of Twitter, and they've actually wanted to clone it. It's interesting. मुझे ये लगा कि Twitter was started I think in 2006, so it was already been 17 years, but Threads gets to launch 17 years after Twitter is in the business, just in that 6 months time frame before which Elon Musk took over and fired 80% of engineers, and many of the engineers joined other companies, including Meta. And lo and behold, 6 months baad, Meta launches this Twitter killer app, as they call it, called Threads. तो मैं सोचा था, I thought to give a quick high level overview कि ये क्या है and why is it making all the news. So Twitter is owned by Musk, so I'm not going to talk about a little bit of that. I thought I'll focus a little bit more on what's on the thread side. Zuckerberg का है ये, a part of Meta Group. They have used 500 characters as opposed to 280. They're saying you can post links, photos. The video is 5 minutes, so they're giving it a better sort of a video out of it. Verification is through whole process is through Instagram. So आप Instagram account से ही आप login कर रहे हो. But key features are there is no trending stories, there's no hashtag into it, and there's no direct messaging. Understandable है ये क्योंकि product management में you launch an MVP product, so this is like the first iteration of it. So I am not going to go and ding them ki what sort of product did you launch with no hashtags, search capabilities have issues, and trending stories are not there ki kaise pata chalega. But it looks like they've done it in a rush. They wanted to give a product out to the market very quickly, and try to get the users. And I think it worked from that aspect because the interface was using Instagram's login account. So people who have Instagram account would log in with one click. सबको पता है Instagram is the number one popular service out in the world in the social media. I think 2 billion plus followers. चलो आपने 500 million or 6 European followers को निकाल दोगे, you're looking at almost a 1.5 billion plus following. And so it's not a surprise that Threads broke the record of the fastest growing app ever in the history of social media technology. जब आप Netflix जब आया था, it took them 3.5 years, and as innovation has started to rise, it takes the apps afterwards in a faster time. तो Twitter को 2 साल लगे, Facebook took only 10 months, Instagram took 2.5 months, ChatGPT took 5 days, and Threads just took 2 hours. I believe almost 100 million ho chuka hai. I think the last count I was 75-80 million. So it is impressive if I look at from a tech standpoint. You got 100 million signups, but if I look at a player devil's advocate, आपको 1.5 billion users already थे, and you basically use the same credentials. So not surprised कि आपको 10 million 100 million users मिले हैं. Tech world में and the product space में, you have a couple of metrics which are important. Number of users, number of downloads, they all use it as a key metric, but really it's a vanity metric. Asli metric is how many members or users have logged in monthly, daily, weekly. So your DAU, MAU, and WAU. वो हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि will Threads work or not. It's interesting to me, Anant and Saurav, that the Western media here, the mainstream media, is calling it the Twitter killer, and Elon Musk, your end is here. Zuckerberg has taken over. Advertisers are going to flock to Threads. Understandably, they don't like Musk for whatever he does. So they all have cajoled up to Threads, and you should see the mainstream media talking gaga over Threads and how it is and how it's going to be the game changer to the whole planet. ऐसे बात कर रहे थे. But I thought I'd give a quick other side of the view कि Threads is coming from the whole Meta Instagram world, जहाँ पे Meta में Cambridge Analytica scandal हुआ था. The whole Twitter before Elon Musk took over was all about controlling information, blocking people, throwing people out. I already saw this on Twitter, by the way. People are posting that Threads is putting these fact checker information. So this was an example. Now I have to fact check this, but I looked it on Twitter, and this is what I found out, that if I try to follow Donald Trump Jr., it says that account has repeatedly posted false information, and please use our community guidelines. So because he's a Donald Trump Jr., you had to put it. But if I use a leftist or a slightly on the Democrat side of the things, they're not showing it. Already यहाँ पे मैंने Twitter में देखा है कि people's threads were removed because they were following against the community guidelines. जो पहले Twitter में होता था, जो पहले Facebook में होता है. So the intent of this whole point is Zuckerberg wanted something like what he had with Instagram, but in the threading, you call the Twitter spaces. Now the Twitter ownership is under Elon Musk. He wanted something on the left side of the aisle, or on the the liberal side of the aisle, and use the same style what Twitter used to do before Elon Musk took over. And so you can see that the privacy pieces is still a concern, and that's why probably why it's not in Europe, because they're gonna get dinged on it. Meta has been clear that they share the what do you call? They share the data, what they have. Predominantly, they collect the data, but they have said for this one is we have used a different model. They're calling it, I think, diverse model or Fediverse model, wherein you can store your data, and then you can take the data from your Threads profile and say you want to go to a new Mastodon or something, and then you can pull all your information because it's yours. We'll have to wait and see ये कैसे होगा. But initial early thoughts from me, sitting in this part of the country, the media loves this. The advertisers are apparently flocking to it. It's the fastest growing app. And then when there were two other things which I saw, which I thought was very interesting. There was an analysis done on Reddit by people who are using both of them. And one take was, and I thought this was interesting for me to share. I don't know if I can just pull it up. The idea was that this could be a middle class platform, kind of like Facebook was. And this is like the prediction, or a conspiracy theory about it. What the prediction, and I kind of agreed with this assessment, and that's why I'm kind of sharing it. Is आपके अगर 500 million followers जो Instagram के हैं, वो आप threads use करने लग रहे हैं, तो आपका एक वो mass following है that's moved on to this one. So the content will be very mass oriented. but you're not going to have these public policy discussions, the diplomatic discussions, the military discussions, like what you have in Twitter today, because Twitter is really 200 million users are using it, but really people who are far more influential, far more political, a lot of journalists use it, a lot of diplomats, these non-government organizations, these think tanks, politicians, these are the current Twitter base where they share that information, and then there is that whole discussion happening. The Musk agenda is, make it like a town square. Everyone's welcome. You had Tucker Carlson doing his shows here. You have a very, I'm not saying the word elite, but a very influential sort of a people trying to have a little bit more dialogue around it. The take here is this is the mass version of it, or the commercial version of it, or the middle class version of it will be Threads, where, and I kid you not, I think I saw one actress, Tamanna or someone, I don't know the exact person. They started the thread like Twitter, and you could see hi Tamanna ji, hello ji, or whatever, like what you see in Instagram. People have just moved in there, trying to do that same behavior. The other behavior which I noticed was people are posting, because people are coming from Instagram. Instagram is all about photos. Photos are all about experiences and talking about their vacation and all of that. Twitter is all about writing. So then I saw a particular thread where they posted their photo. They were drinking their coffee shake or something, and then they wrote, "Drinking my coffee shake," and that reminded me, like, oh my god, this is like Facebook circa 2000. So you're going to see very lot of people who are going to see who are regular people who are going to start using it more, but Twitter will still thrive as the place where dialogue will happen, where there will be more dissemination of information. Twitter Spaces is going to be far more influential. So early prediction ye hai ki this will be a hit, and I think from the way it has gone, it is running very, capturing audiences very well. But we have to wait and see how this would destroy Twitter, because Twitter, the mainstream media is talking that Elon Musk is done, advertisers are moving, and Zuckerberg has bet Elon, which I think is a very premature statement to see it. I'll end it with this particular scenario, and I thought memes are already in place. JCal actually posted this one, which was all about the Zuckerberg social media. I mean, the whole trend here is Zuckerberg copies other elements, so he buys around it. He's done this with WhatsApp. He's done this with the other elements in the Facebook space. Whatever he has done is basically copied out it. And there was one more. Unfortunately, I don't know if the video will be visible, but this I thought was another meme. I don't know if the audio is audible, but they started making tweets, memes around this.
But let's discuss it quickly.
Yeah, so this is like a meme they were talking about. Threads has arrived like Shah Rukh Khan, and all the other people are like entered into it. So you could see people are really looking at this and making fun of it at this point of time. But yeah, Zuckerberg has hit here hard after all that troubles he has gone through last year. My prediction, and I'll end it by my take in this: election year, less than 1 year, people are going to go on Threads, people are going to go on Twitter. Twitter and Threads is going to be like the big battle of how the political play will play. Politicians will start to use Threads to start going into it. I'll see more liberals getting into it. CNN is already going praising Zuckerberg as the next big thing, and he's reinvented himself. Wait and watch mode, how this is going to turn out. Unfortunately, Anant, you will not be able to use it for some more time.
And I'm not looking forward to. So here, let me start by sharing this. Have you seen this?
I have seen this one.
Yes. So look, this is all the honeymoon period. What's happening now is, because Zuckerberg has this huge user base on Instagram, he has somehow managed to onboard all these users onto his new Thread app or Thread
platform. Have to give him credit for that. He was able to do it. A lot of people.
No, but the question is, absolutely. But look, you're focusing on the number of users, but what matters more than that for a platform to succeed? No, not just user retention, user activity.
Yeah, that's what.
How much
weekly
are people using it?
Daily activators, monthly activators. Those are going to be the metrics we're all going to follow.
Right. So I study platform economics as part of my research. what amazes me is people talk about user counts, but don't talk about user activity. This is another major thing that determines the success or failure of a platform, right? Then on top of that, you have network effects. So look, you have to question why Threads has been launched now. Now you attributed this to an election year and possible, ensuing discussions that might happen on Threads. But here's my thing.
Oh,
Facebook
it's
as a company, yeah, Facebook, let me finish. So Facebook has a company, you showed this Mr. Bean meme. Facebook is not an innovative company. It's really good at copying others' ideas. And guess what? The only idea that it probably tried to innovate on, which is this augmented reality bullshit that Mark Zuckerberg poured billions into. You know, I don't know if you have tried it, at least gone through the videos. It was repelling for me. I mean, does he really think that I would come back from work and spend 3-4 hours on that stupid platform? It's called Reality Labs. He so
yeah, I know.
always ask the why, and this is something I've not seen in any other podcasts or media. Even today, there was a lot of discussion. I just heard the discussion on Threads in the All In podcast as well. They were all positive about that this is a nice platform, blah blah blah. But here's the thing: I mean, Twitter has been around for almost 15, 20 years now. Why did I mean when Zuckerberg has copied pretty much everything that is social media out there? When Clubhouse started, he quickly tried to put something in his Facebook app. Twitter did the same thing, right? So copying is easy, and Twitter has a very simple user interface. So you might actually have done it long time ago. So why now? My guess is it is to offset all the losses that have occurred in ventures, very expensive ventures like Reality Labs. He needs to show some kind of growth, otherwise he's going to be replaced
Yeah,
sooner
so
than later.
Anand, if I can share my screen, this was the last point I
Yeah,
made.
go
I
for it.
had one more item on this one. So you're
Mhm.
absolutely right, and that's what I alluded at the start of it. Twitter fired 80% of engineers last year when Musk came and reorganized. Many of them went to also Meta, and lo and behold, 6 months later they opened up the this thing. The repercussions of that, which people talked about it, but it's kind of lost into it.
Mhm.
uh, Twitter is suing Meta for this, and
Mhm.
this is the letter they sent it to Zuckerberg, and it says clearly, over the past year, Meta has hired dozens of former Twitter employees. Twitter knows that these employees previously worked at Twitter, and that these employees had and continue to have access to Twitter's trade secrets and other highly confidential information. And these employees owe ongoing obligations to Twitter.
Yeah.
And with that knowledge, Meta deliberately assigned these employees to develop a matter of months Meta's copycat Threads app with specific intent that they use Twitter's trade secrets. Obviously, then there's whole
Yeah.
intellectual property rights and all of that. But at the end of the day, it also mentions that further, Meta is expressly prohibited from engaging in any crawling or scraping of Twitter's followers or following data, as set forth in Twitter's
Mhm.
terms of service. Crawling any Twitter services, but not limited to any websites, SMS's API, is permissible only if done in accordance with the provisions of the robots.txt file available at this location. It specifically allows crawling at Twitter's followers and following data. Scraping any Twitter services is explicitly prohibited,
Yeah.
and it will reserve its rights. And this is a formal notice sent out last
Yes.
week. And then I wanted
And
to share
probably
this.
it's
Musk
probably not a
tweets:
surprise.
competition is fine, cheating is not.
Exactly.
It's going to get the war between both of these two over the next few months as they get into this messy
Yeah.
election year.
Look, when Elon Musk took over Twitter, at least in my academic community, there were a lot of people who were like, "Oh, I don't like this right-wing guy, so I'm gonna take off Twitter." So guess
I
what?
know.
They went on to Mastodon,
Mastodon.
and it was a big pain in the butt to go there. And guess what? Now, 6 months or 1 year down the line, these guys are back on Twitter and tweeting all over again, right? So
Because all
just
of the
let it play
influential
out.
people are on Twitter. Politicians
Yeah,
are there, diplomats are there,
yeah,
think tanks are there.
absolutely.
They're not going to go out of the way. They may eventually, politicians will do it for the political sake, but you're not going to
Yeah,
get the intelligent discussion, the real dialogue which happens on Twitter, the town
yeah.
square as Musk says. That's not going to happen.
No,
Threads under this one. People are still going to do those kisses emojis, post their photos to Croatia. Move whatever you did on Instagram and post it on Threads. I can see it
And
working in the middle class, but I don't see it
yeah,
working at
no,
the intelligentsia level
and it's
as well. So
yeah, and it's hard to predict what shape, if Threads survives 1 year, 2 years down the line, what
we
shape
don't
it'll
know.
take. Nobody thought that Twitter would end up as a political forum, discussion forum. So let's not speculate about where it'll go. But look,
I'll give him credit. Good start. 6 months he used that 2 billion users he had and moved him. It's not easy. I mean,
yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
product management and I know how tough it can be to move all of that. Kudos to him. Wait and watch, and see where that goes.
But one last point before I leave, I have to leave actually. So the thing is, how many of you use Facebook, the base platform app these days, the website Facebook? How many of you actually use it?
Don't use
I
it to
don't.
Very few.
post.
No.
Very few.
So that's also another alarming bell. Remember, nobody is using Facebook. So the user activity on Facebook has gone down dramatically in the last few years. So what that means is now Zuckerberg needs to start innovating. And we all know how good Zuckerberg is at innovating. So therefore, he thinks this is the next big thing that he can leverage on. And now he has all the engineers who probably know how to run a Twitter-like platform. I mean, running networks on top of these, behind these social network platforms is a very common science, right? So he's managed to do it. Now, whether this will help him stave off any crisis that he might be internally facing with his board or his investors, let's see how these things play out.
But
This
I'll end
guy,
this on a positive note. I mean, I'll give credit to. I mean, I will praise Zuckerberg here for whatever he has
yeah,
done, because it's a win for all the creators like all of us. Now we have one more platform where audiences are
yes,
going to come 500 million
absolutely,
eventually. It would be difficult to market a YouTube podcast or a podcast on an Instagram saying, "Hey, do it." It may be easier for me to market that or promote our podcast on Threads. So I am definitely going to get on Threads, and we are going to promote our Kautilya podcast also on Threads. But we'll have to wait and see how this is going to play out.
yes, absolutely.
This one.
All
Saurav,
right,
any last comments from your side?
I have to go.
I think
So
let's say bye
sorry,
to Anant.
Saurav.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bye,
go
Anant.
ahead.
Sorry. Take care. Bye
Yeah.
bye. See
Bye-bye.
you next week.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I purely see this as a battle of two tech oligarchs. I think both the platforms will coexist. I mean, I've used Threads. I haven't found it to be too catchy, but possibly it's early days right now. I mean, that's one thing.
It's
So
early.
possibly it's in the days to come. It's possibly going to evolve a bit for sure. But I think one of the reasons why I think you were talking about the number of users. I think in a matter of few hours, I think you had, I don't know what, X million
Yeah.
users, right?
Yeah.
And especially in America, I think I'm not really sure if you're aware. I think just a week or 2 weeks back, before the Thread app was launched, in the Twitter space, especially, and in the news world as well. I mean, both of these were having a go at each other. I mean, I don't know if you know. I think there
The
were
cage fight.
talks of they both having MMA fight. The
Yeah.
cage
No, I
fight.
don't know
Yeah.
if that
So
is in
I'm
jest or
kind
is
of
it in
into it. So
real. Yeah.
I don't see a 51-year-old guy fighting a 39 or a 40-year-old guy. I think that's too much of a difference as far as cage fighting is concerned. But to what I know, Elon Musk is good. And equally, Mr. Zuckerberg is into jiu-jitsu. So he's basically very famous. Both the guys are very famous in the right-wing space, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
So I follow MMA. MMA is a right-wing sport. There are few people here and there who are left-wing oriented in MMA, but it's a pure right-wing sport. And Zuckerberg loves UFC. Mr. Elon Musk loves UFC. So they both are pretty much famous in the right-wing world. So I think 2 हफ्ते पहले, before this app was launched, काफी गर्मा गर्मी थी in the Twitter space, that they both want to fight each other. And then after a few days, you had this particular app launched. Twitter is managed by Mr. Elon Musk. Thread launched by Mr. Zuckerberg. So it kind of, added up, whatever was happening a week or 2 weeks back. And, people just went all over it. And that possibly is also the reason, कि इतने सारे users. And the other thing is you have a base users already
No,
existing
it's people don't realize how tough it is to get people to sign up, especially in any part of the country. Fact that he was able to get people to sign up so quickly because all they had to use was the same Instagram credentials. You don't log in on
Instagram.
Instagram anymore. You just need to click on it, and then you just logged in. I think commendable effort. I will give Meta the kudos there for doing that, because it's not easy. It's
हाँ,
not
इतनी
easy to
जल्दी.
get so much users. इतनी जल्दी इतने users इतना easy interface में नहीं आना is an achievement. I mean, the only thing I'm little skeptic is the type of content it will start to spew in. I don't want people to get banned. I don't want it can't be the Twitter of old. If they want to be the Twitter of old and Twitter of new, then it's probably going to be the battle. I mean, people are welcome to have their own opinions and all that, but I see both of them thriving. I mean, it is overstatement to say Twitter is dead. It is also an overstatement to say that Meta is the threads is not going to work. I think
Right.
they have their own spaces, and I think it's good for the entire content industry itself that you now have one more player where people are forced to write, people are forced to put intelligent threads, not just
Right.
post
Absolutely.
in Instagram.
Absolutely.
So I'll end it on a positive note that it's a win for the content industry that there is one more player in the market. I think it's a win for in general for the whole micro blogging space, because I think Instagram really took that whole photo blogging to the next level. I think this is the right era of microblogging. Microblogging is probably 2024 as we get into this high election years in multiple countries. Should be very, very fascinating. So excited. I've downloaded it for the first time yesterday, and I'll probably start to use a player to play with it a little bit more and see how this goes. We'll do
Yeah.
another update in
Yeah.
future, see what are the numbers are looking like. That's our
Yeah.
wrap here. I think we had a very long episode, but I think we had a very fun talking with all of us as a together, talking about events happening in our continents respectively. We will talk again later. Please hit that like button. It's our second episode. We need more love. We need more comments and feedback. If you have any comments and feedback about our videos, please put them in the comments section. What did you like about Wagner's presentation made by Anant? What did you like about Maharashtra update from Saurav and the Twitter update? Please share your feedback about our topics. And if you have any topics we should be talking about, please share that as well in the comment section. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. The Kautilya Podcast will be back again with another episode next week. Till then, we will talk again later. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.